For this project, you'll need a third yard of fleece and whatever color you want for your main ear. And you'll also need a quarter yard of felt for the inner ear. You'll also need some poster board, fabric scissors, paper scissors, and a pen to draft your pattern. So you'll need, for Flareon, I'm gonna use a headband. You'll need wire cutters. You'll need some wire. I got this from Lowe's, I believe. You'll need some poster board to draft your pattern, scissors for cutting paper, and you'll also need fabric scissors for cutting your fabric. First things first, Flareon, I'm sketching out the ear. So this is, I just did a rough draft. This is roughly the size I want the actual ear to be. And you can even take your headband and lay it down. You can see how it's gonna look coming off of the headband. I kind of like them looking more like rabbit ears. I'm just going to draw out the shape you want. And then for the inner ear, you're gonna draw the inner ear as well. Let me go back to Flareon. There you go. You have 4 each. You're gonna take one, flip it in the reverse way. And I just lay my pieces out so I know how to sew them. So you're just gonna position your inner ear, and then we're gonna go over to the sewing machine. I'm gonna show y'all how to top stitch this on. Hi, Bert. So, I haven't tried this method with hot glue, but I'm pretty sure it could possibly be done. Anyways, I have my 4 thread colors here, my red and my navy for Flareon, and my purple and yellow for Jolteon. Just gonna throw it up my machine. I'll be right back. Consulting my sewing journal. I suggest if y'all have any type of project, you keep one of these. I use it for every project I do. I put in like my machine settings, so like I have a particular setting to use to get this pretty edge stitching. So I'm gonna set it to tension 5, and then stitch number 4, which is my zigzag stitch, and then I have it set to stitch length. I have it set to 1, and then the stitch width I have set to 3.5. Okay, here's this thing, a lifesaver. So all the things. I'm going to pin down. I'm gonna lay this how I want. You can either glue this on. I like to stitch it on because I think it looks neater. I'm gonna pin this to the top part. We're just top stitching. We're just gonna do that zigzag stitch all the way around the edges. I'm gonna do that for both ears, one regular, one reverse. This way I lay everything out so I know it's going the right way. Alright, when we get to the corners, make sure your needle's down into the fabric. Lift your presser foot up and you just rotate it. And then I just do like one more stitch. Make sure my needle is down in the fabric. Okay. Oops, got a couple extra ones in there. It's not gonna hurt anything. Anyways, this is what it looks like. So it looks very smooth and seamless. You can't even tell you top stitched it. So I'm gonna do that for the other ear, and then we'll stitch them together. Be right back. I'm gonna do that for Jolteon as well. right, back. So I just took my pieces and I'm gonna flip the other side over the top. Do that for both sides. And then we're gonna pin and we're gonna stitch that 1/4 inch all the way around. And we're leaving this bottom part open so we can flip our ears inside out. So I have it all pinned. I'm just going to sew around the edges again and leave this part open. Alright, here we go. Stabby things away. Now, I know I messed up the seam allowance on this side. I'm gonna have to go back. But if you have enough, you can clip your corners. You're just gonna clip little notches, like in these deep corners, little triangles. They don't have to be too close together. You don't have to do the whole curve, just part of it. For the corners, I just like to cut straight across, like that. Be careful not to cut the threads. And just make it a little easier to flip. Just a little part I messed up on. I'm just gonna trim it a little. That looks good. This corner piece here, I'm just gonna cut straight across close to the stitches. Okay. So my little cuts. Just flip this inside out. You may need to get like, I'm gonna use the end of my paintbrush here to poke out some of my edges. Usually my fingers are too short to get to the end, so you can use like the end of a paintbrush, the end of a chopstick, something just to poke your corners out. So you have a little ear pillow, more or less. But anyways, here's one of my ears. It's done. It's cute. It's beautiful. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. And I'll be back. Okay, we're back. I actually took a little bit of spray paint and spray paint to my headband. I probably need to go back and spray it again. This isn't going to matter too much because I'm going to be covering it with some flowers. I'm doing a Lolita dress for this particular cosplay. So anyways, I cut 2 pieces of wire, just enough. I'm just going to fold it, think of like a rabbit ear. I'm gonna fold it in that shape and then put the 2 ends together. And then I like to use electrical tape to put on the bottom so I don't stab myself, because the wire ends can be very sharp. So we're almost done, I promise. You can use hot glue or Fabri-Tac. I just got this brand new bottle of Fabri-Tac here, so I'm going to use this, and it's right here. I have a wire shaped like a rabbit ear, and I'm just going to slip one of the ears over. You'll also need a pair of pliers. I will have to go out and purchase another pair because I have no idea. I think I borrowed mine. Yeah, I borrowed mine the last time I made these, which is a while ago. So they're quite useful to have. So we're just going to basically slip the ear over. I used to, and you can if you want, machine stitch on the inside of the wire to anchor this down. And occasionally, I might go back and do this, get a piece of craft foam and cut it out and slip it on the inside just to give it a little bit more support. But I'm going to leave it just like this. It should be fine. And then I'm going to take the tricky part, take my bottom 2 wires, and then I'm going to wrap it around the top of the headband. You can even do that first, actually, if you want, and then slip the ears on. Actually, that'd probably be easier. Then you can position how you want the ears to go. I just do it on for a sizing thing. Then you just carefully wrap, bend the wire around the headband. So this part's a little tricky. And just make sure you bend the wires so they're in the upright position. And then you can, oops. This is a lot easier with pliers. It's a lot of wobbling going on. But you want to make sure your wires are pretty taut against the headband. It's not going to break the headband, but you just want to make sure like you crimp it so it's pretty tight on there. I'm going to go back and do that. And then if you have extra wire, you can just clip it off. So I'm going to clip down this part here to make it flat. And once you do that, just slip on the ears, bend your wire to the edges. And again, you can reinforce, like I said, you can reinforce with some craft foam if you want. And then we will just glue down the bottom part. So I'm gonna go find some pliers and then I'll be back and show you how to finish this. All right, crisis averted, found some pliers. So again, I'm just going to crimp this down. I have to find a longer pair. It's the only difficult part of this whole thing, I promise. Okay, there we go. Do the same thing to the other side. Now always try your headband on to make sure. But this also makes your ears adjustable. You can adjust them however you want. I'm not too worried about what it looks like on the bottom because I am covering this with flowers, but I'm just going to take fabric tack and just pull these pretty fire flowers from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to just glue some on there to make it pretty. This is optional. I always just like to add extra things to my ears just to make them unique. Alright, got my glue gun heated up. I'm just going to glue some more flowers. Okay, and that's it. So then your Flareon flower crown. The flowers are also optional. I just like to add flowers on there. And I'll show you how to do the Jolteon one.